Deputy Seán Kyne is question number 10. Deputy Kyne.
I asked the Minister if he intends to review the National Spatial Strategy, and if so, what timescales does he have in mind for that?
The 2002 National Spatial Strategy was Ireland's first national strategic spatial planning framework. It aimed to provide the spatial vision and principles to achieve a better balance of social, economic and physical development and population growth between regions through the coordinated development of 9 gateway cities and towns and 9 hub towns, together with complementary policies to activate the potential for lasting economic development in their hinterlands and wider regions. While the existing NSS remains in place, I and my colleague Minister Hogan established in August 2013 a successor National Spatial Strategy Scoping Group comprising 3 experts with extensive experience of spatial planning and economic and social development to prepare a short scoping report on the development of a new national planning framework to replace the current NSS. I received the expert scoping group earlier this year, and I now intend to shortly bring proposals to Government on the roadmap to develop a new national planning framework that will take account inter alia of the significantly changed economic circumstances that the country now faces, and with a view to contributing to sustainable national recovery. The new national planning framework is expected to be finalised by the end of 2015.
Margaret. Deputy Kyne.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you for your reply. I suppose one question I would have, in your own view, did the old spatial strategy actually work to deliver what it had planned to? In my own area, Galway City is a gateway, and we've seen the importance of major cities as economic drivers for the regions. In the region of Galway West, you have the hinterland, you have Connemara, you have people who traditionally would have worked in Galway City and living in the rural area. And I think that the importance of the gateways needs to be further developed as the economic drivers. We have seen foreign direct investment who see Galway City as important in terms of critical mass of population for employment of trained individuals. We've seen also in the last week we've seen the signing of the M17, M18 motorway, which will be a great help to the regions and to the west, and also to the government's policy in relation to broadband in the areas as well. So these are all important, but I think the importance of the gateways as economic drivers to the regions needs to be fully supported.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Yeah, I mean, it's very early days. I suppose we just have the scoping document now, but I think anybody who agrees with good planning and wants proper planning would accept that the concept of gateways and the idea that you have regions with centres with important economic drivers of those regions, that is an important principle that works really in all countries and would be, I suppose, a basis of good planning. So, you know, that I don't anticipate that there will be any change of direction in terms of having these kind of gateway entrances or gateway centres of economic activity for regions, and that they would work with the hinterland around about them. But what we do intend to do is to have wide consultation with all interested people, the public, but also significant organisations that would have an interest in this area. And that we will have a conversation around how the country has changed and whether there are lessons to be learned from the previous strategy and indeed from actions that were taken subsequent to the previous strategy, like the decentralisation, which didn't appear to relate hugely to what was actually in the National Spatial Strategy. So we want to make sure that, I think it's very important that we have a good national spatial plan that works for the country, that identifies the strengths of different regions and that develops those strengths and has a plan and a policy that is very clear and that links into all of the other agencies of the state, government departments, etc., so that we have a coherent policy basis and planning basis on which we develop our country into the future.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Kyne.
Sir, for your statement, I welcome those views. At present, 50% of the population of the country reside in the Minster area. So, I mean, the challenges ahead to prevent that area further growing at the expense of the regions is hugely important. So, I mean, the future spatial strategy or whatever is going to be hugely important in terms of the future of the west of Ireland. And, you know, it's something that I welcome the consultation and recognise again and welcome your understanding of the importance of the gateways.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, just briefly, I mean, I would agree with you that I think there is always a danger in any country that the capital city, becomes the centre, if you like, and that the regions are not adequately supported. And I would certainly share your view that we have to ensure that this strategy does have a very strong recognition that we need strong regions throughout the country, the west, north, south and east, and that we put the policies in place to ensure that we do develop those strengths.
Thank you, Minister.